It's almost 6 in the morning. I'm still awake. Like, wide awake. I just got sucked into a rabbit hole of just looking at random ass fucking videos. Lots of like drama type videos, like real life type drama videos. And I'm like, this last one I watched was just, it's like 5 months old, and it was a retake of a video that they had done a year prior to that one. No, over a year. They originally did it in 2022. And they were like, you know what? I feel like I've grown. I feel like I can do more impartial, not impartial, but like less biased commentary, be less triggered. I think I can do this. I'm going to try it. And I think she did a good job. Also, it did something for my inner child. Like, I started playing out the scenario as if it were me. As if I were the child in that scenario. And in the video that she was commentating on. And, it did something very soothing. And I feel like I can finally just, like, relax and allow myself to finally get some sleep. I'm gonna have to reset my alarm for a later time, because yes, I do have to still get up, because my caseworker, my new caseworker, my fourth one this year, I'm not asking for these changes in caseworkers. They're just shuffling them around like us clients just aren't really people that bond with these people. Like, the people themselves are not people. Like, I don't understand what is happening. She was not even my caseworker for 2 solid months. Okay, maybe. Yeah, no, not even. Nope. It's getting ridiculous. I feel like maybe this organization isn't that great to their employees, because so far the services offered have been fucking great. They've been great. But I'm under the impression that they're just not treating their employees very well. And that's why there's such a high turnover rate. I don't like that. I wasn't thinking this before, but I'm starting to think it based on the fact that not this last caseworker, but the one before that, called me to tell me, hey, I know we had just scheduled our monthly meeting, home visit, but I'm not your caseworker anymore. I don't know why. I can't tell you why. Even if I did know, I wouldn't be allowed to tell you. But yeah, and they're like, I know you're going to be pissed at me. And I was like, why would I be pissed at you for something that's beyond your control? Like, what, And she's like, thank you for that, because I have some other clients. And I'm like, yeah, I've been hearing lots of nightmare stories from my caseworkers. Not like details, like any client names or even the genders of their clients. They say this client had they use gender neutral pronouns and everything, like, but they're like, man, and they don't even say any real details, but like the little tiny bit that they, how you say something without saying it at all? It was like that. So I've heard a lot of that over the last 4 years that I've been a client. And I'm just like, Also, I've noticed a pattern that my caseworkers tend to get really, really fucking swamped with tons of cases. Like, Like, they just overburden each and every fucking social worker in that works there. Like, what are they doing? Anyways, I'm just a little annoyed by that. But I'm a little annoyed with this one because it doesn't bode well, our first interaction. Because first off, I got told last week that I was getting a new caseworker and that I would hear last week from them. Did not hear from them until, well, now it's yesterday, so Thursday. That's 8 days later. I got the call last Wednesday or Tuesday. I'd have to check. It really doesn't matter because they've had over a week and they just got around to talking to me. I'm like, okay. Well, considering what I'm starting to understand is that they overburden every social worker that under their employee. Okay? Okay, so that's fine. But what doesn't bode well is I get a little annoyed when you ask me a question in writing, like text, writing, words on a screen. What my time and day I'm available, and I tell you 2 different days and the same, like in a specific time period, and you hit me back with, yeah, so let's meet 3 hours prior to the available time slot you just gave me. Come again? Well, if that's possible, right? I didn't say that. They said, if that's possible. They said, how about 8 a.m.? I said 11 to 4. They said, how about 8 a.m. if that's possible? I said, no, that's not possible. I said 11 to 4. Okay, how about 12:15? Okay. Nice. I don't like having to keep saying the same thing over and over and over again, especially in text. Because what I like to do is I'll be like, oh shit, they said what? You know? Oh, and then admit that I'm like, oh, my bad. I didn't even read it. I'm supposed to be doing something else. I'm doing 5 million things at the same time. My bad. You know? I like people to know, like, oh, it's not that I ignored what you said. I just missed it completely because apparently I can't read. You know? Obviously, that's not literally what that means, but it's like I feel it conveys, 1, that I'm embarrassed, 2, that I am remorseful for the fact that I might have made you feel disrespected, and I feel really bad about that, because I don't like making people feel disrespected. I've been disrespected so much in my life, countless times. I don't like to make people feel that, because that is a feeling that just, I hate that feeling. So there's a lot of feelings I've had in my life that I don't feel good about making other people feel. Okay? And fuck what everybody says about the semantics of no one can make you feel any kind of way. Well, if that's true in the most black and white literal fucking sense, then there's no such thing as being triggered. Get it? It didn't make you, it evoked an emotional response. But nobody wants to have to say, you evoked this emotional response from me every single fucking time. You know what the fuck we mean when we say you made me feel this way. No one can make you do anything. That's the thing right there. Because also, if no one could make anyone feel any kind of way, then political campaigning wouldn't work. Advertising and marketing wouldn't work. Rage bait wouldn't work. Like, come on now. If no one ever had or could have any influence on anyone else's emotions, okay, then none of these things would exist. Okay? Manipulation would not even exist. In any level. Coercion wouldn't be a thing. So just don't come at me with the whole, I can't make you feel anything. Shut the fuck up. You know what the fuck I mean. Okay? I get so annoyed by that. Like, really, seriously. I'm not. I said make, not force. I didn't say you forced me to feel anything. Nobody can force you to feel anything. That's true. You can't force anyone to love you. You can't force anyone to hate you or stop hating you. You can't force anyone to feel anything, but you can make them feel things. You can evoke or provoke emotional responses, emotional reactions, you can evoke and provoke emotions from them, within them. You can do that. Everyone can. No one's immune. Okay, now that we've gotten that out of the way, so I would convey the fact that, I would make it explicitly clear. I do not mean to disrespect you. So, in the off chance I made you feel disrespected, let me be clear. I was not trying to be disrespectful. I was being a ditz. My bad. None of that. No, none of that. And my last caseworker that was my own caseworker for less than 2 months, was very good about that. Like, oh, I'm so sorry. I know we said we were going to meet up at this time, and I didn't even call you. I didn't even get a chance to call you until the middle of the night, when I was finally done with this crisis that I was doing or whatever. And it was just whatever. And I'm like, it's cool. I kind of figured that's what happened, because I realized with the last 2 caseworkers that they are overloaded with cases. And so I just started being like, hey, if I'm not in crisis, first off, even if I was in crisis, why the fuck would it matter? Why the fuck would it be a thing to be upset with you for not showing up to an appointment for it? Like, this isn't, like, crisis means I call the crisis line, or I call 911, or I call the nurse's line for whatever medical thing that I'm having happen, or something to that effect. If I was having a crisis with my apartment, because this is a caseworker that works with me as far as my housing and all the things that go into helping a chronically homeless person gain housing stability, like long-term housing stability, and maintain it, right? If I was having a crisis involving my housing, my apartment, I'd call the emergency maintenance line. Like, also, I've also made it very explicitly clear to people that if I'm gonna text you first to ask you if it's okay to call, okay? Unless I'm having an emotional crisis, but not quite enough to call the crisis line, because they done me dirty once already, and there's no 3 strikes you're out. No, you did me the dirtiest ever. The one time I called you bitches, and now I don't have my kids. I was not that bad off that day. Until after you had my kids taken. Until after it became apparent this person isn't even on the phone anymore. They set the phone down. I'm talking, I'm like, hello? Yeah, I have the police on their way, and they're gonna need you to, like, wait, what? What? They told them I was suicidal, and I wasn't. But I was, once it became apparent that I was going to have my kids, my only reason to live, taken from me. as a reward for reaching out for help for the first time about my abusive relationship with their father. Which just kind of reinforced all the lies that he was feeding me, all the manipulation he was feeding me, that he was the only one I could count on, and I better not reach out to anybody else because they're just gonna fuck everything up and they will take my kids. And then what happens? They take my kids. So yeah, no. So the only time I'm gonna call if I'm having an emotional crisis is if I'm having one where it's like, oh, it's bad, but it's not, I want to hurt myself bad. And you know who I'm going to call? Not my caseworker. I call my fucking friends. Duh. Hell, I'd call my dad. People that I know actually give a fuck about me as a person. I finally have that in my life now. But I digress greatly. I don't see any reason why why she would need to apologize. I explained to her, like, look, I understand y'all are, each and every one of you has a very high caseload. This was a routine visit. It's cool. This wasn't an emergency visit. This was not a crisis call. There was nothing. And if it was, I know you'd have showed up no matter what fucking time it was. You'd have been like, you good? You good? Or at least called. I know you would have. And she's like, yeah, you're damn right. And I was like, well, yeah. Well, then there we go. She had like 3 different crises that day. Just took up her whole fucking day, and then she still had to do paperwork at the end of the day. Like, all kinds of shit. Like, I was like, you know what? No, it's cool. It's fine. So I'm like, what the fuck keeps happening with these caseworkers? There's this last one was like, this latest one, I just don't know. I don't know. It just annoys me. I'm like, don't do that. Don't do that. I give you my availability. Don't do that. Don't do that. We're gonna have to see. When I meet them later this afternoon. Well, yeah, it is afternoon because it's 12:15. That's the time we agreed upon. We're gonna have to fucking see what my gut says to me about them. Because my gut was great with the last one. The one before that, though, it didn't straighten up until like a couple of my chakras got unblocked, and one of my 3 knots finally unraveled. So, and that was towards the end, and I was like, oh damn, I was the problem. Two caseworkers ago, I realized, oh, I was the problem. So that was fine. But I'm like, oh man. But now I can trust myself. I can trust my judgment now. Now that things are unlocking and things are starting to flow more steadily. My third eye's open, all that good shit. And I can trust my judgment. Like, once I see this person, because like, this is why I love Goblin Tools, because things are flowing better, third eye's open, all that good stuff. But the trauma in my brain, the trauma programming is still very much trying to be in the driver's seat. So in text, it is real easy for me to be like, oh, that just sounds dumb. And I'm like, wait, First off, this is why I said what I said earlier thus far about how overloaded these people are and how they keep getting just shifted around like little pieces on a chessboard with no regards to how they feel in the relationship that they build with their clients. Like, calm the fuck down. Calm the fuck down, Lindsay. Like, trauma linksy, we got this. We're okay. We're okay. It's just one little thing. Yes, it doesn't bode well. But at the same time, like, you gotta give people some fucking grace, especially if you know that this is the work environment that they're working in. So take it with a grain of salt. We will see how it goes at the first meeting. Anyways. Oh, here comes the sun. Do 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 do. Here comes the sun, and I'd say it's alright. Okay, anyway, don't worry about me. I'm just a little bit lulu with no sleep. Had a good dinner though. That was fucking bomb. Clean plate right there. Bomb. I love you guys. I'll see you later.